Tomahawks launched into Syria, James Comey writes a young adult novel, and rumors about the NFL putting an end to cheerleaders? Coming up on Today with 2 cents. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Today with 2 cents on the Liberty Network. Last week's episode was finished just before it was announced that US, British, and French naval forces launched Tomahawk cruise missiles into Syria, in response to the chemical attack purportedly committed by Bashar al-Assad.
Especially in light of the airstrikes we saw in Syria over the weekend by the U.S., French, and British forces. So we took a look at the hardware that was used, also the companies that are making it. The powerful missile attack on 3 targeted sites involved 105 weapons, 66 Raytheon Tomahawks, that's the U.S. military's go-to, launched from 3 warships and a Virginia-class submarine. Tomahawks can carry a 1,000-pound warhead up to 1,500 miles and be reprogrammed mid-flight.
The stock prices for defense contractors saw a bit of a rise, but I'd still like to hear someone explain what the irrefutable proof that Assad was behind these attacks is. Further, what exactly is our plan? Unseat a dictator so that a worse tyrant can take control of the regime? Just launch a couple of missiles every time they do something like this? These are all questions that deserve straight answers, especially given the foreign policy blunders of the Obama administration.
Terrorize this.
Former FBI Director James Comey assures us that he has a story to tell about higher loyalty. He wasn't in Clinton's pocket, or Trump's pocket. He unashamedly did everything he did out of a higher loyalty to America.
What prompted the book? Why did you decide to write it now?
Yeah, thank you for that. And thanks for having me here. This is the interview that meant the most to my wife, so thanks for, thanks for letting me on. So I'm actually a little nervous, because I don't want to screw that up. But what prompted me to write the book was a feeling that I could be useful if I shared some of the lessons I've learned through my life about what leadership should look like. And one of the things I've learned from my wife is when something bad happens, you should try to make something good come from it. Not to make it worth it, but because that's your obligation. And so I didn't love the idea of people yelling my name on the street and whatnot, but I think I had something useful to say, and I hope it's useful to people for a long time, but that's why I wrote it.
We get it, Mr. Comey. You don't like President Trump, and he fired you. Whew, there's a few hundred pages of time saved. I won't be reading your book. But from all the reviews I've read, you really ought to consider penning some teen fiction. After all, it's clear your higher loyalty is to making profit off your sappy experiences in the political rigmarole. Might I suggest that there's more money to be made in sappy novels about sparkly vampires or billionaire sex-crazed CEOs?
He gives me a wicked grin, the effects of which travel all the way down there. Oh my gosh, okay.
In a story that's increasingly picking up steam, coffee giant Starbucks is announcing that it will close stores nationwide in order to provide its employees training about racial sensitivity. Why? 2 men were allegedly arrested when they refused to leave the shop, despite not having bought anything. But according to them, it was really because they were black.
The CEO of Starbucks says he wants to apologize personally to 2 black men after video of their arrest in a Philadelphia coffee shop spurred outrage. Police say a Starbucks manager called 911 Thursday because the men refused to leave after trying to use the store's restroom without making a purchase. They were arrested for alleged trespassing. Protesters have been gathering at the Philadelphia store. That's where Michelle Miller is this morning.
You know what the beauty of capitalism is? Under this circumstance, people can choose to spend their money or not spend their money wherever they'd like. And if one business won't provide services to you, odds are you're going to give your money to their competition. But wait, if you weren't buying anything in the first place and you were merely taking up space in the business, is it so unreasonable that they might have asked you to leave the premises? Of course not. Because in the age of identity politics, any time you don't get your way, it must be due to a lack of social justice legislation, right? Give me a break.
Son, do you know why we pulled you over? Nah, because I'm black, see? That's right. Nah.
American football, the national pastime of many a patriotic American. Every year, Americans spend billions of dollars to watch grown men go head-to-head on the field, while scarfing down hot dogs, drinking cheap beer, and watching an assortment of beautiful women shake their bodies on the sidelines. But wait, the NFL may just be getting rid of its cheerleaders, because beauty is offensive to feminists. Paul Joseph Watson reports.
Cheerleaders. Who doesn't like cheerleaders? Fat, ugly, bitter feminists, obviously. And USA Today columnist Nancy Ormore.
No place in the NFL for cheerleaders in 2018!
So after calling for classic songs to be banned for their offensive lyrics, USA Today now wants cheerleaders gone too. Is anything sacred?
So let's end the jobs of thousands of beautiful women everywhere. Even if they like their jobs, they don't realize that they're really being oppressed. You feminist retards, get over the fact that you've made horrible choices in life which have rendered you butt ugly and undesirable in every other way. Hard-working, beautiful women deserve to be rewarded for their good life choices. And bullying hot women out of their jobs won't make you the slightest bit more desirable.
Shut up! Everybody shut up! This took a lot of courage!
As Democrats prepare for the 2020 elections, New York Governor Andrew Cuomo plans to boost their chances, not by changing their minds, but by increasing the pool of potential voters. In particular, Cuomo plans to grant the right to vote to more than 35,000 convicted felons.
New York is pardoning criminals to get them to the polls. Get this, a new executive order from Governor Andrew Cuomo, who happens to be a Democrat, allowing 35,000 felons who have not finished parole to vote. It's a blatant sidestep of state law that bars paroled felons from casting ballots. Cuomo says it's unconscionable to deny the rights to former prisoners.
This is why voting is such a tragedy. Why don't we just let people vote with their wallets and pay for the services they'd like to use? Instead, voting allows boatloads of murderers and swindlers to cast their vote for spending other people's money on their bad choices.
Women, we have spent decades fighting for our right to vote. So when you go to those booths and cast your ballot, remember, Warren G. Harding is way the cutest!
And it's that time of the show to reveal the weekly hottie. Drum roll, please. This week's weekly hottie is the beautiful and ever-seductive Kate Upton. The 25-year-old model just this week had sizzling photos released from the Yamamay swimwear line as part of the Confident Beauty campaign. There was no corresponding video footage, but here's a clip of some previously done lingerie shoots featuring Kate. And that's it for this week. Be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe, both on the Liberty Network and on my channel, My 2 Cents. And that's My 2 Cents. Take it for what it's worth.